Oprah Winfrey talking about honoring black fathers? Fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Now available in paperback and ebook, The Man Who Rules the World. John Haynes must bring together men and gods to overcome a threat that seeks to destroy the planet. The Man Who Rules the World. Now available in paperback and e-readers everywhere.
Over Father's Day weekend 2021, your Oprah Winfrey decided to make a TV special with John Legend talking about the importance of honoring black fathers. And this is a major pivot as related to Oprah Winfrey's position on black fathers because over the course of the last 35 years, your Oprah Winfrey has expressed nothing but contempt for black men and has expressed nothing but contempt for black fathers. And it looks like to me that the reason why your Oprah Winfrey has decided to pivot on her position as related to black fathers has to do with her not being able to get the favor or approval from these white benefactors who have made her an international superstar. Now, over the last 20 or so years, your Oprah Winfrey has been in the doghouse with these white benefactors ever since she decided to go out here and endorse Barack Obama as president back in 2008. That was the start of the decline of Oprah Winfrey's relationship between herself and her white benefactors because those white benefactors had no problem with her being a mammy on TV, bashing up black men like cars in a demolition derby on her talk show, and then elevating other popular whites like Dr. Phil and Susie Orman on her platform. However, when she decided to go out here and decided to endorse your Barack Obama as president, that's when a rift started to emerge between Oprah Winfrey and these white benefactors in Hollywood who supported her over the years. And that rift has turned into a chasm, I believe, with the interview she gave your Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And because she went out here and put on this interview between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that made the royal family look bad, it looks like that rift that she had starting with Barack Obama has turned into a chasm, and that's looking like the point of no return between Oprah Winfrey and her white benefactors. And with this being the point of no return between your Oprah Winfrey and her white benefactors, this is why your Oprah Winfrey is now going out here and making a pivot and trying to appeal to black audiences by going out here and trying to extend a very greasy and slimy olive branch towards black men by making this special talking about the importance of honoring black fathers. Because your Oprah Winfrey had very little honor for her own father when she was in her prime and at the height of her popularity, and she had less support for all of those black men out here during the 1980s who were doing their very best to try to teach the few boys in their community and their sons the best about manhood. Because instead of your Oprah Winfrey going out here at the height of her career during the 80s to go out here and present a positive image of black fatherhood, black manhood, and black masculinity, no, your Oprah Winfrey decided to side along with white supremacy and decided to present the most negative stereotypes about black manhood, black masculinity, and black fatherhood. And on her show, she made it every effort to present black men as the stereotypes that white supremacists like to see: black men being womanizers, black men being cheaters, and black men being deadbeat dads. That was a major focus of many of Oprah Winfrey's shows, where she made every effort to present black manhood, black masculinity, and black fatherhood in a negative light, and continued to perpetuate many of the numerous racist stereotypes about black men until the gangster rap came in the 1990s to continue reinforcing the position as she continued to go on during the 90s, bashing black men And then, as she got her production company, Oprah Winfrey Productions, going on in the 90s, she then further went on to continue bashing up black men like cars in a demolition derby in her in these black feminist adaptations of books like Dorothy West's The Wedding, starring Halle Berry, where she picks a white man over a black man, and the book and the movie demonize black men, or other Oprah Winfrey productions like Their Eyes Were Watching God, starring Halle Berry, which also goes out of its way to demonize black men as black brutes and as players and cads, and not really present us with a balanced picture of black manhood. And that's where I have a real axe to grind with your Oprah Winfrey as related to this hypocritical position she's taking right now, because for over 35 years, this woman has dedicated her life to dishonoring the image of black men, discrediting the image of black men, and demonizing the image of black men. But now she wants us to believe that she's going out here and wanting to honor black fathers. But if you really cared about black fathers, you would have honored those black fathers back in the late 80s, and you would have done that back then because you knew that all of these negative racist stereotypes were out here about black men, but you didn't want to go out here and honor those black men who were holding it down, like my brother and my father and many other brothers who were out here doing what they needed to do, teaching and preparing their boys for manhood, and teaching and preparing their boys on how to navigate the world. There were lots of brothers out here doing what needed to be done, like Mr. Superboy talked about in his video, and there were men in the community out here taking care of business and going out here taking care of things. But instead of focusing on those men when she had a media platform, your Oprah Winfrey decided to go out here and she decided to further breathe brand new life into those old stereotypes, talking about all of these womanizers, talking about all of these players, talking about all of these cheaters, talking about all of these deadbeat dads in the black community, but never shining a light on all of the deadbeat dads and the bums that are a part of the white community. And she sits there and again pivots, talking about honoring your black fathers, when she had no respect for black fathers for over 35 years. And she's extremely disingenuous as related to this TV special, because in this special, where she's supposed to be honoring black fathers, the people who she has on the show as celebrity fathers, a lot of them are a part of that whole sellout community of black Hollywood, like your John Legend. Now, your John Legend, yes, he's a black father, only in name only, because he's married to a white woman, Chrissy Teigen, and then he has guys like your Dwayne Wade, who's basically been emasculated. So she's talking about honoring black fathers passively, but aggressively she goes out here and gets some of the biggest black bootlicks and people like your John Legend, who really are not technically black fathers. Yes, they are fathers with black skin, but they are not a part of building a black family, because when I look at your John Legend, he's not really a part of building a black family, because when I think of black fathers, I think of black men who are married to black women and are all about building strong black families. And your Oprah Winfrey in this whole special was about expressing contempt for the black family, because as she goes on the air talking about, oh, I'm all about elevating black fathers, she again goes out here and passive aggressively goes out here and expresses contempt for the black family. So when I look at your Oprah Winfrey and talking about honoring black fathers, that's one of the most laughable things I have ever heard. And again, it just shows how dishonest this woman is and how desperate this woman is, because she knows that she's already burnt a bridge with the white community, and she's trying to race back over to the black community before that bridge completely collapses. And black people should be at the other side of that bridge to let your Oprah Winfrey know that you're not coming back over here, that she can go and stay with those white folks, and she can go deal with the consequences of being with those white folks, because that's what black people need to do with a lot of these sellouts. These people, they go out here, they get their success, they get their fame, but then they never come back for the brothers and sisters in the community. And these traitors like your Oprah Winfrey trash black men. And again, it's up time for the black men to set a standard and say, if you trash us, disrespect us, you're not coming back, and you can stay over there with those white folks, and you can go out there and win and deal with whatever has to deal with them. Because what she wants to do is jump back over the fence to the black community and try to get support from the black community now that she has alienated all of those white folks in Hollywood and those white benefactors who have elevated her. And now that they no longer have need of her, now she wants to come back to the black people and try to get us to continue to support her in her old age and be able to get a retirement at our expense. Well, we should not allow that to happen, because again, how can you sit there and say you want to go out here and honor a black man you bashed for over 35 years, honor an institution like Black Fatherhood, which you bashed for over 35 years, and honor men you disrespected and dishonored over 35 years. And when I look at your Oprah Winfrey, again, she just is so disingenuous and so dishonest that she sits here and wants to go out here and revise history as related to these black fathers by talking about her own father. So your Oprah Winfrey wants to talk about how she had this good relationship with her father and how everything was going great. Well, why was your father writing a tell-all book a couple of years ago? That's a critical question I want to ask your Oprah Winfrey. And what I also want to understand is, how did history change? But I do understand how history changed, because a lot of these females out here, they love to revise history, and they love to revise history when things aren't going right in their lives. So this is no different than what those women in the Me Too movement were doing when they were out here on the casting couch when they were younger. That sexual encounter with that movie star was considered the greatest moment in their life. But now that they have aged out of the entertainment business, now it's another allegation of a so-called sex crime. And that's the same thing that's going on here with Oprah Winfrey. She's revising history to make it look like, oh, she had such a great relationship with her father, and she wanted to honor her father, and she wants to honor black fathers. But in actuality, she's just revising history to try to get some favor from the black community and try to get the black community to take her back and accept her as part of the black community. And again, this is something black people really need to push back on, because the big problem with these race traitors is they know that a lot of black people are just very open and very kind. And we always believe in this whole concept of forgiveness as related to the pseudo-Christian religion. And yes, I do forgive people for doing wrong, but I do not forget. And because I do not forget, I don't allow those people to come back and do more harm to me. Because some of these people, they're never going to change. And when it comes down to your Oprah Winfrey, from the passive-aggressive way she presented this special, it looks like she has not changed at all. And the fact that she went out here and got a group of black bootlicks like John Legend, D.L. Hewley, and Dwayne Wade to sit there and talk about their fathers in a TV special just shows how dishonest she truly is. Because if she really wanted to go out here and do a special talking about black fathers with all of her resources, she could have gone out here and interviewed many of the young brothers out here like that like I know on social media who are fathers and who are active in their children's lives. I mean, if I want to talk to somebody, I talk to people who are fathers, who are doing the work, who are married to black women, and who are holding it down, because I want to elevate a image of positive black families, a positive image of black manhood, and a positive image of black masculinity that shows that there are black men out here who are responsible, conscientious, and taking care of their families. And again, your Oprah Winfrey had 35 years to go out here and do this, but she only waits until the twilight of her career as related to her losing the favor of her white benefactors. Then she's going to want to come out and be all about black people. And this is no different than your Halle Berry and many other black sellouts. They only want to be black when it benefits them. Then at any other time, they want to be all a part of the great American melting pot. They want to be Americans first and blacks second. But now, whenever their favor ends, then they want to be 100% black. And that's where black people have to say, enough is enough. You can't go out here and disrespect us for 35 years and then expect us to just sit here and accept that. No, we have to set a standard for ourselves, because when people like Oprah Winfrey are not held accountable, it says that the black community is weak. And when I look at all of the things that Oprah Winfrey has done to people like your Michael Jackson, and just disgracing his whole legacy and his memory by being on the boat with his enemies, this is a woman that I cannot really sit there and believe wants to honor black men when she's gone out of her way and made every effort to destroy black men, and only wants to honor or make it look like she's honoring some bootlicks. Again, looking for that favor from the black community, but the black community has to really start to grow a backbone, start to grow some stones, and really start to take a stand against this woman, because this woman has done more damage to the black community than anybody else. I mean, your Oprah Winfrey is responsible for the demonizing of black men during the 80s, creating the rift between black men and black women that we know as the gender war, because she was the one who amplified many of the stereotypes about black men being cheaters, about black men being whoremongers, black men being wife beaters, black men being abusers, black men being deadbeat dads. This woman went out here and demonized black men on her show. She gave authors like your Terry McMillan and many others a platform to push books that promoted the whole narrative of black men being this no good black man, without ever giving an author like myself a counterpoint to show the responsible brothers in our stories. And she went out here and disrespected all of black people by doing this, and created a further divide between black men and black women. And this is why I say, when she talks about honoring black fathers, you're completely dishonest about that, because if you really were all about this, about honoring black fathers, you would have done it during the dark days of the 80s, when the image of the black father was in crisis, and you would have pushed hard to do that, because it would have helped a lot of these young brothers, the same way Bill Cosby was trying to help people with The Cosby Show and A Different World, because TV was influential back then on young minds like mine, and you had an opportunity to teach these young brothers how to be responsible black men by standing up for black men. And you could have had that impact that A Different World had, where an entire generation of black boys and girls wound up going to college. But instead of going out here and doing that, you went out here and pushed that whole black brute narrative for the 80s and into the 90s, and led to a whole group of black men winding up getting caught up in the gender war, and this being the ultimate narrative for black men for an entire generation. If it wasn't for the YouTube black men coming out, Oprah's narratives would still be the ones out here. And if it wasn't for black men going out here and refuting those narratives on YouTube, men like your Sergeant Willie Pete, your Ringo, your Heavenly Truth One, your Thug Titian, your Dan Freeman, your Rick Scorpio, many T-Mott and many others going out here. If it wasn't for those black men dispelling those narratives that Oprah Winfrey put out here, those narratives would still be going on. And she's sitting here talking about honoring black fathers. Well, nobody wants to honor a woman who has dishonored the image of black fathers, black men, black masculinity, and black manhood. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications that feature positive images of black men, like The Temptation of John Haynes and the John Haynes series, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.